We welcome those of you who are joining us from the SWAC championship game. Congratulations to Alabama A&M. Dave Ryan and Donnie Marshall calling the game. I'm Jerry Punch along with Stephen Bardo. We are in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Southland Conference title action just underway here a moment ago. Southeast Louisiana in the black with green trim, and Northwestern State University in the white trimmed in purple and red. These two teams tied for the regular season title atop the conference standings with identical 13-3 records. They played once this year back on January 15th in this gymnasium, and it was a tale of two halves, where the game ended up being a 2-point advantage for Northwestern State.
You see here, Southeastern in the half-court set, very deliberate.
Northwestern State likes to run and use the transition game, and that foul by Jermaine Spencer. He draws the foul on the attempted breakaway. Take a look at our starting lineups.
You see Woods there for Southeastern Louisiana. Best scorer on their ball club. Great athlete at 6'6". Can do a lot of things with the rock. And then you see Clifton Lee, number 30 for Northwestern State. He's a hoss, folks. This guy, 255, plays as hard as anyone in America.
That went off on Jermaine Spencer. Now, our Star Watch features a couple of all-conference selections.
Nate Lofton, the center for the Lions, one of the bigger players at this level of college basketball, can be dominant at times. Jermaine Wallace, very steady point guard, leads the team in scoring and plays as hard as anyone else on this ball club.
Nate Lofton scored 21 points and had 8 rebounds when these two teams met on this floor back on January 15th. Albeit in a losing cause, they had a sensational second half after being down by 21. We're talking about Southeast Louisiana.
It's unusual, Doc, when you see teams that are very patient in the half court be able to come back from large deficits because they shorten the game up with their style of play.
Trying to set up the patient outside shot. Patton can't get it to fall, and here come the Demons.
And this is what makes the Demons so difficult. They have 3 or 4 guys that can get it off the rebound.
Oh, nice pump kick inside by Jermaine Smith. Didn't mean to jump on you there, but great effort by Spencer, who had to sit out a year ago because of a knee injury. He is Mr. Excitement. He's the energy for this basketball team.
Jermaine Spencer had his defender in the popcorn popper right there. Had him jumping up and down, didn't know where he was. Abused him along the baseline. So a matchup zone by Northwestern State.
Can't get it to fall. Here comes Mr. Clifton Lee back again. 3-point shot will come down, and the Lions will come back.
Nice cross-court pass that time by the big fella.
Jonathan Patton, the senior guard from Picayune, Mississippi. 3 points for Patton. His first 3 points of the afternoon.
Great court awareness by Nate Lofton, the center for the Lions, to look weak side for Patton. Lofton had an opportunity to score himself, but that's why these guys are #1 in the Southland Conference.
There's Clifton Lee. Nice soft jumper from 20 feet. Great crowd on hand here at historic H. Lee Prather Coliseum. We are in Natchitoches, Louisiana, on the campus of Northwestern State University. Third time this team has been in the conference championship game in 6 years. Early on here in Natchitoches, Northwestern State up by a couple over the Lions of Southeast Louisiana. Natchitoches, Louisiana. Stephen Bardo along with Jerry Punch. And Stephen, you couldn't have scripted it any better. 2 longtime rivals, conference co-champions of the regular season, and they're battling here with 1 day, 1 chance to go to the big dance.
This is what it's all about at this level of college basketball. The Southland Conference, not one of the big boys, but just as important none the same.
These two teams certainly trying to get it done here on the home floor of Northwestern State. Take a look at the 2 coaches. Billy Kennedy, his 6-year back-to-back regular season titles for the 41-year-old former Southeastern Louisiana grad. And across from him, Mike Opie McConaughey, 49 years of age. Third time he has brought the Demons to the championship game. They pulled off the huge upset in 2001 over top-ranked McNeese State.
I love the nickname Opie. Just looking at it makes me chuckle.
He said he got it when he was 6 years old. Someone in his church gave him the nickname, and it stuck during his playing career when he was an All-Southland Conference guard at Louisiana Tech.
Well, he definitely has sent the message to his ball club throughout the season that the way that they're going to win is to play harder than anyone else, and that's exactly what they do. They throw waves at you, pressure you around the floor, try to push the ball up on the break and look for early opportunity. Mike
McConaughey spent 16 years as a head coach at Bossier Parish Community College down outside of Shreveport, here in his hometown of Bossier City. Started the program from scratch and came here 6 years ago trying to return this program to its glory days when his dad played here back in the 1950s. We'll tell you about that story. It's a wonderful family story about the McConaughey's and this school, Northwestern State.
Good defense right here by Northwestern State. Really try to pressure the next pass, try to deny the pass and get you out of your offense.
They look for Lofton inside. Big physical specimen, turnaround left-hander, won't fall. And here comes Clifton Lee. Third rebound of the afternoon thus far for Clifton Lee, who has been absolutely sensational in the tournament in both the quarterfinal and semifinal games for the Demons.
Well, Doc, Clifton Lee is a great example of the type of athlete that you find at this level in the Southland Conference. At 6'7", he's a forward, but really a big guard that likes to defend inside and out, and just a very multi-dimensional player.
At 6'7", 210, he looks like somebody would play inside, but he's so silky smooth outside. In fact, his nickname is Big Smooth.
Big Smooth.
Gotta love that.
And you can see why they call him Big Smooth. Can get it off the glass and lead the break. He can initiate the offense out front.
Jermaine Wallace trying to set it up and get it back to Clifton Lee, who had 17 points Thursday night against LeVar in the semifinal game. Inside basket will count. Jermaine Wallace draws the personal foul and will shoot for the three-point play.
Showed a lot of strength on that move right there. Let's take a look at it here. Just go strong right. It's a little bump and it's the kind roll. Jermaine Walker, leading scorer here for Northwestern State. Expect to see him with those crafty little shots around the basket.
You know, Jermaine had 26 points in the quarterfinal game against Texas Arlington, but has really struggled. In fact, 4 of the last 5 games, he has failed to reach double figures in scoring. Been in somewhat of a shooting slump, only 1 of 10 in the semifinals on Thursday night. He gets that one to complete the three-point play.
And you'll see both teams will have elevated play with all the marbles on the line today for both squads.
Oh, nice pass inside to Lofton, but he can't hold on to it. Third turnover for the Lions. Largest margin of lead thus far here early on. 5 points for the Demons of Northwestern State.
See a big man like Lofton that time with the buttery hands. You almost want to tell him, get out and do some fingertip push-ups, big fellas. Get those hands strong, because those guards won't give you the rock if you keep dropping.
Oh, nice follow inside. Great rejection. And they're going to call a foul on the Demon player underneath. Well, championship week presented by 7-Up concludes this afternoon on ESPN at 3 Eastern with the Phillips 56 Big 12 championship as Texas Tech faces number 11 ranked Oklahoma State. The Cowboys and the Red Raiders coming to you 3 o'clock Eastern time, noon Pacific on ESPN. Phillips 56 Big 12 championship.
See right there, big fella just came in again. Game rather, Alphonse Dyer. Looks like he's got a contact problem. But a great defensive play by Ricky Woods on the block that time. He showed you his athleticism there.
Dyer will head to the bench after 2 contacts. 1 contact came out of his eye and 1 contact beneath the basket cost him a personal foul. So turns the ball over. Big Alphonse from Marrero, Louisiana. Oh, nice crossover dribble that time. Quickness by Terry Bryant. Looking inside the Lofton. Great effort by Lofton. That time there were no butterfingers.
Here comes the boom on the alley-oop. Big fella posterizing down low. This is a nice slip right here by Lofton. You see, he was going to set a pick. He reverse spins to the basket. And look at this beautiful pass. Couldn't be any better from Woods right there at the basket.
Ricky Wood doing his rifle shot pass across to Lofton. Lofton can't get the free throw to fall. Ball bounces out of bounds. There's a look at Ricky Woods. Top two teams in the conference in the regular season, tying at 13-3 each. They played once back on January 15th here in Natchitoches, Louisiana. In fact, it was a 17-point lead at halftime for Northwestern State, but then Southeastern Louisiana came back and scored 44 points in the second half and nearly won the basketball game. Oh, great effort. Nice pass to Ricky Woods. Almost traveled. Very close to being traveling on that breakaway.
Got away with it, and Ricky Woods shows you what we talked about earlier. Great athletes on both of these on the floor here for both of these teams. Ricky Woods, a New Orleans native, Doc. Same high school, Carver High School, as Marshall Falk.
Great athlete. Ricky's spent some time at Paris Junior College. Best two teams in the Southland Conference getting it on here for a chance to go to the big dance.
Jermaine Walker right there forced that shot up. It's a good illustration why he struggled here last game. He's got the ability to get good shots. That one wasn't.
Oh, nice effort inside. There you see Ricky Woods' 40-inch vertical jump. Fifth lead change and a takeaway. Oh, can't get it to fall. Great defensive effort by Kerwin Jones, by Keenan Jones. Check that. And here come the Demons back.
Oh, Keenan Jones. Great job of coming back and making up for that turnover there. Great effort on both sides.
Outside, can't get the three-pointer to fall. Falls his own shot. Nice soft putback. Jermaine Wallace, the junior guard. 5 points on the afternoon. And another lead change. Sixth lead change of this basketball game. A 5-point lead a moment ago by the Demons evaporated. That off-balance shot a little short.
See there, Southeastern is trying to come with a defensive backflow and find a steal. But unsuccessful.
Kerwin Forges, the transfer from Oxnard College. They call him Baby Barkley because of his body habitus. Obviously at 6'4", 240, but he is so physical inside. He manages to get open and use that body to get those shots off just like that a moment ago.
We just saw Forges handling the basketball up, pushing the ball off the rebound. So a lot of these players here for both squads, a little undersized for the traditional position. A lot of guard play out here. You see, we just saw that for Forges.
Shot clock at 4 seconds. Got to get one off. Off-balance shot won't fall. Not the shot the Lions were looking for. And here comes Northwestern State.
Oh, quick lead.
They will call the offensive foul on Byron Allen. Back in a moment to Natchitoches, Louisiana. Duke hanging on over Georgia Tech. There's a look at Mike McConaughey and his lovely wife, Connie. They walk every morning at dawn in the neighborhood, and they are just a special part of this community here in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Back underway. Northwestern State had a 5-point lead early on. Biggest lead for Southeastern Louisiana was 2 on the opening basket. We've had 6 lead changes if you just joined our coverage here. Southland Conference Tournament title game in Natchitoches, Louisiana. We are in Northwestern Louisiana, very first town to be founded after the Louisiana Purchase back in 1714. So a lot of history here. And that shot was history for the Lions. And here come the Demons back.
Clifton Lee, we saw had a charge last time. He rotates the ball from one side to the other. Look for him to be very aggressive from the top of the key going to the hole.
Nice off the screen. Can't get it to fall. Southeastern Louisiana, the worst scoring team in the conference in terms of scoring offense, but the best defensive team in the conference and 5th in the nation in total scoring defense.
A lot of that has to do, Doc, with the way that they play in terms of ball possession. They take a lot of time off the shot clock. They shorten the game up, and that leads to their defensive numbers.
How did that one come out? Nice give and go as Keenan Jones can't get it to fall. Southland Conference Championship action in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Along with Stephen Bardo, I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. Two teams that tied atop the regular season standings. Northwestern State University in the white, Southeastern Louisiana in the black and green trail.
Ricky Woods of Southeastern is going to be careful. He's talking with the referees. Thought he got hit in the face last play. There's too much on the line for him to be worried about the officials right now.
Yeah, they can ill afford to have him have to take a seat. And they're going to call him for steps. Well, lots of action coming your way on Selection Sunday at 5 Eastern. We'll get exclusive unveiling on the 64-team field in the NCAA Women's Championship. Reese Davis will have that. At 6 Eastern, Sports Center will update what's going on in the men's field. 7 o'clock, ESPNU's Bracketology, presented by Staples. Chris Fowler, Nick Vitale, Jay Bellis, and a cast of thousands there. As Selection Sunday, we'll have it all for you here on ESPN.
See here, Mike McConaughey for Northwestern State goes to his bench once again.
Yeah, he'll go about 12 deeper. He likes to play a lot of people. He likes them all to be hustlers. You get tired, you take a seat. Right. That's Mike's philosophy. Running up and down the floor and play with all effort. Oh, nice pass inside. Great effort by big Nate Lofton. His 6th point. He is halfway to his average already, and we still have over 7.5 minutes to play in the first half.
Scott Roniger of Southeastern made a really good post feed. That's one of the things that we fail to see in college basketball anymore, is an effective post feed from the wing.
Nice pass back off the dribble. And the big fella Dyer couldn't handle it. Here's the breakaway. Oh, great effort from behind by Tremaine Hancock. And Hancock will take the three-point shot at the other end. What great pursuit from behind by Hancock for that block.
Hancock, one of 3 brothers that are associated with the program. They said he's got the heart of a Hancock right there. He'll be the best one of the 3. And you saw right there, he's definitely got the effort.
Whoops, they're going to call that one every time. Offensive foul. The charge called on Jonathan Walker. You talk about having the heart of a Hancock. His brother was a part of the 2001 title team. Watch Tremaine slap it away from behind.
Of having a family, and when you have a family feeling towards one another, you pull for one another in the toughest situations, and it comes out on the court. That's why they are here in the championship game of the Southland Conference. Very
warm and nurturing environment here in the Southland Conference for both these schools. As you saw a moment ago, the leaders, 6 turnover now for the Lions of Southeastern Louisiana.
Great double team in the corner over there by Woods and Lofton to force the turnover.
There's Billy Kennedy, the head coach of the Lions, and he was an assistant here when they won back in '89, when they were very successful here building the program in the late '80s. Moved on to California, now in his 6th year at the helm of the Lions. Oh, no-look pass, and couldn't quite hang on was Ricky Woods.
I saw Lofton has the right idea in terms of throwing out the double team, but Woods just couldn't handle that hot pass. Too close for that quicker pass.
This is the 138th meeting between these two schools. We told you the rivalry is old. They've been playing for 66 years. But it's been 20 years since Southeastern Louisiana has beaten Northwestern here in this gym. They have lost 14 in a row, and a nice effort there by Jermaine Spencer to pick up his 5th point of the afternoon.
Watch the penetration right now. You see at the top there, getting to the basket, Tyrone Mitchell, nice shovel pass. And Spencer strong enough to finish. Breaking down the defense of Southeastern is what the point guards of Northwestern State want to do.
See that field goal percentage, 62%. He leads the conference in field goal percentage, and you see why, because most of the shots he takes are about 2.5 feet from the basket.
And he's jumping off a trampoline every time he's in the paint, so it's very rare that he's going to get his shot blocked.
Jonathan Walker comes back in as Scott Roniger will take a seat for the Lions of Southeastern Louisiana. They're their leaders. Lofton, 6 points, also leading rebounder, and tied with Woods for 2 assists.
So they really need to go to the big fella every time down. He seems to have the best feel for the Lions thus far. There it goes.
Oh, nice give and go. Nice pass by Woods into Lofton. And Lofton will draw the personal foul.
Excellent adjustment by Billy Kennedy, moving his players to the opposite side. They ran this play earlier in the game, and it resulted in an alley-oop dunk. This time, nice feed by Woods, who draws a double team. Lofton slips, and it's good at the bucket.
Lofton, first team all-conference selection this year, was newcomer in the year last year in the Southland Conference when he averaged 13 points and 10.9 rebounds, 4th in the nation last year as a rebounder.
Oh, when you look at Lofton, you can see that this young man has the ability to play at other levels besides the Southland Conference. Very active for his size, good feet, strong around the basket.
1-point margin here, and Baby Barkley muscling up inside and draws the personal foul. That's the nickname for Kerwin Forges, the junior out of Marrero. Well, NBA on ABC doubleheader continues later this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. The Houston Rockets battle the Sacramento Kings. It's all on ABC, home of the NBA Finals. Well, the NBA action on ABC coming up later on in the afternoon.
You can look at Baby Barkley's arms right there and see where he got the nickname from, that great lower base. And when you have guys that are 6'5" and wide bodies, they're so difficult to defend because a typical big man, Doc, can't keep up with him quickness-wise, and a smaller guy's his size can't deal with the weight.
And like Barkley, he's a prime-time player. When it comes to tournament time or crunch time, he has come to life. He's averaged 10 points over the last 10-game winning streak, double figures 6 times in the last 11 games.
Now you see Billy Kennedy getting this ball club, walking up the floor and trying to get into those sets that have been golden for them here in the first half. Northwestern State in a matchup zone. It's like a 2-3 that kind of morphs a little bit when the ball goes through the wing.
Bryant looks inside Walker. Nice dish away to Jonathan Walker, the junior from Atlanta. Back up post player. They got both of them in.
When you have a center the size of Lofton that's as unselfish as he is, it's so difficult for opposing teams. Great job on the shovel pass.
That one doesn't fall. Follow inside, and the mugging beneath the basket of Kerwin Forges, and he will shoot a couple.
Let's take a look at Lofton and what he was able to do on that last play. Look at him as he comes in the paint. No look pass. That's a heck of a play for a big fella right there. Look at that. You usually see point guards making that play there. Good job by Nate Lofton.
Billy Kennedy getting both of his post players in to get some size inside, so I'm trying to hold off on that offensive rebounding set. As there's a look at Billy Kennedy getting both his big guys, Walker and Lofton, in. And you saw that little dish to Walker on the basket a moment ago. Kerwin Forges hits them both. Up his total of 5 points here on the afternoon. Northwestern State had a 5-point lead at the 4-minute mark of the half. 4 minutes into the first half, I should say. We've had 6 lead changes and 2 ties thus far. Oh, nice head fake. Soft on the jump shot. Couldn't get it to fall. Aggressive rebound, and they'll give it back to Bryant.
Wow, Southeastern had a great couple looks that time. Walker came up with a really strong offensive rebound. I thought, Doc, he should have gone back up with it. He was point-blank range in the paint.
Yeah, Billy Kennedy didn't like what he saw a moment ago. 2 great opportunities to get baskets and 2 fairly poor shots.
I agree. Next time you'll see Terry Bryant be a little bit more patient when he gets those opportunities.
Ball tipped out of bounds by Forges. It'll belong back to the Lions of Southeastern Louisiana. Back with more from Natchitoches in just a moment. Scott, Steve, and Rick will be standing by for our 7-Up halftime report here momentarily. We are back in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and I got a great one going on. Turnovers continue here because of all the emotion in this game. 7th turnover of the afternoon thus far. And Mike McConaughey's team out of Northwestern State, a 2-point lead. They led by as many as 5 here in the first half.
And you saw Ricky Woods right there. You have to do what you can do. You can't get outside of your game. He's trying to push the rock up the floor. You can tell he isn't comfortable in that position. He's better suited for someone giving him the rocket within 15 feet.
Stephen, when these 2 teams played here back in January, Northwestern State shot 68% in the first half to take a 36-19 lead. They are struggling today. Breakaway, nice defensive effort for 2 by Chris Lee, the junior from Shawnee Mission, Kansas.
That's the second time this afternoon Chris Lee has come up with a steal on that right wing. Doing a great job of playing the passing lanes and being aggressive on the defensive end.
By the way, Chris Lee getting his first start of the year today because of Neil Berry's groin injury. Happened in the final minute of their semifinal game. Berry on the bench, tried to dress out, just couldn't go at all in warm-ups. You want to know who's going where and who they're going to play? Well, Selection Sunday will have it for you. We begin at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. NCAA Women's Selection Special will unveil the field of 64. SportsCenter will update you on what's happened with the men's selections and what the brackets are. Then we'll break it all down with ESPN News Bracketology presented by Staples later on, all for you on Sunday afternoon.
We saw that last play. Byron Lee at 255. And Nate Lofton at 250 taking the charge. That's a lot of beef under there.
Like a football game down here. They play some pretty good football in this conference, by the way. Northwestern State, 5 trips in the last 8 years to the 1AA college football playoffs.
A lot of athletic success in both football and basketball. We'll talk about a little later on, Doc. Some of the players that have come through this conference and had success. You see Lofton out front with the basketball. Typically, you want your 6'10" guy to stay close to the basket. This young man has the ability to pass and handle the rock. He doesn't get you in trouble in those situations.
Oh, nice crossover dribble. Fadeaway shot. Couldn't quite get it to fall. Tyrone Mitchell will set up the offense. 20-footer from outside. That's been the struggle in the first half as Northwestern State shooting at 34% from the field.
Nice hustle by Terry Bryant underneath the basket to give his team another opportunity. Really a cleanly played ball game here first half. Not a lot of fouls for either side.
Northwestern State is 15-1 at home. Their one loss coming back mid-year against Lamar, a team they've had trouble beating since they've been in the conference. Alley-oop inside, and they're going to call the push foul on Clifton Lee.
Take a look at how Northwestern State is getting it done in the paint. You see there, nice drive, but they don't give up on the offensive glass. You see Dyer going after it. And here's Clifton right there with the dunk. Nate Lofton with the alley-oop. And then Lofton with the shoulder pass. Big fella loving it. Put it back up the court.
A lot of points in the paint here. These two teams, Southeast Louisiana, back-to-back regular season titles for the first time in school history. A school record 23 wins this year for Billy Kennedy's bunch. There's a look at Billy, 41 years of age. They have won 16 of their last 19. Their last loss coming back on March 3rd at McNeese State.
Well, we see that Ricky Williams would prefer to get out on the break and in the paint. Has really struggled to find his touch on his shot this afternoon.
Nice motion offense now by the Demons of Northwestern State.
Boy, Demetrius Bell laid a nasty pick on Woods coming across the paint. That's the physical nature of this ball game right here.
Borges will take it himself, gets it blocked from behind on a great defensive effort. Final minute of the first half. Southland Conference Championship game, Natchitoches, Louisiana. Along with Stephen Bardo, I'm Jerry Punch. Two teams that tied atop the conference standings. Totally appropriate. They would play pretty much even, dead up here in the first half.
If I'm the Lions right now, Nate Lofton, the center for Southeastern, has got to touch the ball.
There's Mr. Woods, leading scorer, Ricky Woods. 6 point of the afternoon gives Southeastern a 2-point lead, equals their biggest lead of the game.
Finally got that jumper to fall. That will make him extremely dangerous.
Oh, nice effort off the glass. Soft one inside by Jermaine Wallace. He is the Demons' leading scorer. 7 points for Wallace.
Jermaine Wallace is out of the game in the last 5 minutes. Wants to make an impact at the end of the half.
Final seconds of the first half. Open shot. That would be for 2 if it goes. It does not go. And we are at halftime here at Natchitoches, Louisiana at Prather Coliseum. We are all knotted up at 24 apiece. Our halftime score, 24-24. Now let's join Scott, Steve, and Rick in our 7-Up halftime report studio. Guys?
All right, Jerry.
Reminder that Southeastern Louisiana has not won here in Natchitoches in 20 years. 1985, the last time they've won. They've lost 14 in a row, including their only meeting this year back on January 15th, and that was a very close 2-point basketball game.
And you better believe Billy Kennedy let his players know that before today's game. With all that's on the line, national television audience here, a berth to go dancing. Better believe his team knew that statistic right there.
Biggest lead in the first half was 5 points by Northwestern State. Southeastern Louisiana led twice by 2. 4 times we were tied up in the first half, including at halftime. 9th turnover now for Northwestern State.
Jonathan Patton coming up with the loose ball. Southeastern does a really good job of denying the passes in the post, active hands on the defensive end, and continue to come up with steals.
They're looking for Patton for the outside shot. He couldn't get free a moment ago. Now gets the basketball to him. Clifton Lee on Patton. Look inside to Lofton, the big fella. Back it in, and they're going to call him for steps.
Clifton Lee really putting up a solid defensive effort that time, using his body on the undersized big man, and forced Lofton into that turnover.
Lofton smiling, talking to referee Hal Lusk going way up the floor. So, you know, you caught me. At least he admitted he made a mistake. Pretty obvious. Steps inside. Oh, give and go off the basket. Lofton. How about the jam by Jermaine Spencer on the great follow.
Good job that time by Northwestern State. Really nice set play that time, designed for a layup there going around the corner.
First points of the second half scored by Northwestern State. Nice turnaround, great athletic move inside.
That's what you expect to see. Much of what we saw in the first half. Got to get into the big fella. That's where their offense begins. Oh, nice read that time by Jermaine Walker. Coming off the UCLA cut.
Underneath Keenan Jones. Nice dish outside to Wallace. He can't get it to fall. Here come the Lions. Got a player wide open up the floor. Late on the pass, and they turn it over. They had Chris Lee wide open and couldn't see him, and the pass was a little late coming.
Now Southeastern gets set. Very difficult for the Demons of Northwestern State to score against this half-court defense.
Well, they're going to call Terry Bryan, who was attempting to pick it off, call him on the personal foul. That'll be his first.
Look at this right here. Nice give and go that time. Turns the corner, and Byron Lee there to clean up the mess. And the big fella flexing, showing his bicep running up the court after the tip slam. I think his arms are big enough that we can see that for ourselves now.
I would say so. Here's Clifton. Looking back outside. They get it taken away, and they take the ball back. And Ricky Woods almost picked up a silly foul down the floor a minute ago as he tried to run in against Keenan Jones.
Keenan Jones has come off the bench and provided a nice spark here in the second half.
And they turn it over again. Sloppy ball handling by Jermaine Spencer. Gets the ball turned over. 11th turnover by Northwestern State. That does not make Mike McConaughey very happy. He's a very disciplined coach and talks about ball discipline. They have turned it over 3 times in the last 4 trips down the floor.
And what's starting to happen, the Demons are really starting to fall into being really frustrated in terms of having to play this half-court game.
Here's Clifton Lee, back to him, and they're going to call a block as Lee doesn't get the basket to fall. Block is called on Chris Lee, the junior out of Shawnee Mission, Kansas, a transfer from Butler Community College.
I like that Clifton Lee got out on the break and had an opportunity to score right there. Nice give and go. And looks as though Clifton Lee lost it on the way up. A good call, block. Defender was not there in time. That
is the 3rd personal foul on Chris Lee, who's getting his first start of the year. Chris subbing for the injured Neil Berry, who pulled a groin. Normally be playing in that spot. Berry pulled a groin, the 5th-year senior, in the semifinal game on Thursday night. There's a look at Neil. He dressed out, tried to go. He has some bandages on that right knee all the way up in the groin area, and just couldn't. Was hobbling around when he was trying to shoot out there. Just wasn't going to be a factor, so he will not play. Tough way to finish your career during the season. A 5th-year senior, Neil Berry.
And, Doc, we saw Neil come out earlier, and he tried to give it a go, but the young man could barely walk. And so if he can run halfway, I'm sure he'd be on the court. So, you know, extremely disappointing for him. And that groin is no injury to mess around with.
They say it's a partial tear, so it's going to take a while to heal. Hopefully, if they make it to the dance or maybe the NIT, they get a chance to get him on the floor again. Scott Wanniger in as a backup point guard. There's Wanniger with the basketball there, trying to set up the offense. Lee now, 3 personal fouls. Oh, nice cross-court pass to Patton.
Nice move by Patton off the bounce. And then gets the elevation in the paint over his defender. Boy, I like that move there, Doc.
Nice vision by Nate Lofton to get it across to Patton for the open jump shot.
You can see why a lot of guys, oh man, pickpocket once again.
Chris Lee showing some quickness. He gets hammered under the basket, bounces off the basket abutment on the floor, and he'll shoot a couple. Took a pretty hard tumble on the floor down there. Great quickness by Chris Lee on the breakaway. Can't get it. He'll shoot a couple when we come back. Thank you very much, Scott. Billy D's Gators getting it done in the SEC tournament. How about that, upsetting the Wildcats of Kentucky?
Yeah, some tough losses early in the season, but it rallied here down the stretch in impressive fashion. They'll be dangerous in the dance.
Great Atlantic Coast Conference game as well, with Georgia Tech having pulled off an upset over North Carolina in the semifinals. Duke beating a gutsy NC State team yesterday after NC State had upset Wake Forest in the opening round, and great Atlantic Coast Conference finale. Got a good one here in the Southland Conference. Northwestern State in the white, Southeastern Louisiana in the green and black. Two teams that were co-champions in the regular season, 13-3 records. Tied at halftime, and it's been basically that kind of basketball game, very even up here in the second half.
Matchup zone by Southeastern Louisiana is giving Northwestern State problems right here.
Oh, athletic effort. What, are you kidding me? Jermaine Wallace, freshman of the year a couple of years ago. Sensational effort using the body and the balance.
Woo. That's funky along the baseline right there. I bet it's still smelling down there where the cheerleaders are, so funky on that move.
Lofton inside, back it in. He got a foul a moment ago using the body very delicately that time, but can't get the shot to fall. Clifton Lee, and the Demons will come back after it. 1-point lead for Northwestern State University. Here we're in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Despite the fact that the play is favoring Southeastern Louisiana, Northwestern State is, finds a way to keep themselves in the game.
Nice little garbage rebound there. Clifton Lee will set it up. Look for Jermaine Spencer. Gives it off to Wallace for the three-point shot. Way off the mark as the shot clock expires. Mike McConaughey wanted a better shot. Let's watch this move here.
Jermaine Walker goes baseline, goes up against the big fella, comes up underneath, and says, give me a double scoop on that beautiful play there by Wallace.
Jermaine Wallace showing why he has been the leading scorer here for 3 consecutive years for this ball club. Here's Patton. Great defensive effort there by Clifton Lee to stop Patton's drive to the hoop. Getting inside the Lofton again. Turns around, nothing but net. That guy's almost unstoppable that close to the basket.
Yeah, point-blank range. I don't care who's guarding him. They're not going to stop him at that point. Northwestern State's got to do a better job of pressuring the basketball but not allowing an easy post feed.
Here's Keenan Jones, did a great job coming in as a backup point guard late in the first half. He draws the personal foul. Want to know who's going to play where, what, and when? We'll have it for you on Selection Sunday on ESPN. NCAA Women's Selection Special. Reese Davis, Stacey Dale Schumann and Company at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Sports Center will update the men's and women's bracket at 6 o'clock Eastern. And we'll break it down for you. ESPNU Bracketology, presented by Staples at 7 Eastern. Chris Fowler, Dick Vitale, Jay Billis and Company. These guys will be very interested to see where they might go. These two teams that played very evenly. Mike McConaughey coming here to a school where his dad was a legend. And Mike not happy right now with what's happening on the floor. Here's a look at Johnny McConaughey, All-American here at Northwestern State University, 5th pick overall in the NBA draft back in 1951. And they're going to call steps. Let's show you Johnny once again. They grew up on a farm. It was the McConaughey family farm in Bienville Parish. There's a look at Johnny. He and his older brother. There's Johnny, All-American, number 5 pick in the NBA draft. He and his older brother, Leslie, played here, retired numbers. They were a part of that major championship for the Demon basketball in the early years of 1949, 1950. Mike McConaughey, the son and current head coach, played at Louisiana Tech. There's a look at Mike. He holds the record for most points scored in this building. Unfortunately, he scored them for the visiting team, Louisiana Tech.
I'm sure residents here of Natchitoches remember that performance and are glad to have him on their side right now.
1-point margin for Southeast. Oh, nice pass inside. Partially blocked. Pretty good defensive effort. And the Demons get it back once again. Tyrone Mitchell sets it up, tries to be a little more patient on offense, and Mike McConaughey likes the patience, holding up one hand, having him slow it down a little bit, getting some better shots.
Oh, nice skip pass by Forges.
Can't get it to fall. Mitchell had a wide open three. It rims out. Oh, they had Woods beneath the basket up the floor and couldn't get the basketball to him.
Go back into being patient once again. It's a swing offense. The ball will swing aside. The guard will cut through and go to the corner and clear out space.
Lofton dishes out to Patton. He can't get it to fall, and here come the Demons once again. Quickly back on defense. Nice pass, couldn't hold it, picks it up. Oh, great effort. Right place at the right time for Colby Bargeman, the freshman guard. 12th lead change of the afternoon. Bargeman, who was a high school videographer until he grew 4 inches and suddenly became a part of the basketball team.
Isn't that funny how that works?
Son, you're going to play basketball. You just got bigger.
I'm sure he loved the career change. Out here, a part of this excitement here today.
They look for Patton, and that's why. Money from 19 feet.
Patton has that patented jumper.
Now that one, Colby Bargeman picks up the personal foul on the charge. Back in just a moment. Thank you very much, Scott. We got a one-point game here. Southeast Louisiana up 33-32. Northwestern State, one NCAA appearance. That's Billy Kennedy, the head coach of Southeastern Louisiana. And there is Mike McConaughey. Their one and only trip to the NCAA tournament, 2001. They pulled off the upset against Winthrop in the opening round game up in Dayton, Ohio, then lost to Illinois in the second round game.
And we saw in the open when Coach McConaughey was talking to his players about how hard they had to play. These guys played the #1 team in the country and played them tough for about 25 minutes of that game in the Las Vegas tournament earlier this year.
They played 4 top 30 teams in the first 10 games of the year. Oh, nice effort back there by Ricky Wood. They played Oklahoma State, Illinois, Cincinnati, LSU, Tulane. They played some talented basketball teams early in the year. And the reason Mike McConaughey does that is because it pays off at crunch time.
That's exactly right. These guys aren't afraid of anybody they're going to face throughout the regular season in their conference when they have a non-conference schedule such as that. Oh, get that weak stuff out of here, big fella.
And Mike McConaughey living at the fact that their shot selection is not exactly what he would like to see inside. And he quickly goes back to his bench, and we'll get Jermaine Spencer back up to come in the ball game.
You see this swing offense go side to side with it. Woods and Lofton will alternate in the paint.
Oh, great effort off the dribble. Nice first step by Chris Lee.
I tell you what, we've been talking about Woods and Lofton, but Chris Lee, who didn't expect to start today, has come off the bench and provided a tremendous spark for Southeastern Louisiana.
A 9-4 run by the Lions of Southeastern Louisiana. Largest lead of the game for the Lions. Equaling Northwestern State's lead of 5 points in the first half.
Oh, good hands there.
Shot clock at 5 seconds. Got to get it off. And they will turn it over. 13th turnover, and Mike McConaughey just can't believe what he's seeing. A team that has been so disciplined and so patient with the basketball, turning it over now and having trouble struggling on the offensive end of the floor.
It's just the tenacity, as you see Billy Kennedy there. Really a lot on the line for Southeastern Louisiana here today. They have been poised coming into this hostile territory, Doc. They look great so far.
Billy Kennedy, 2004 Southwest Conference Coach of the Year, when they won 20 games for the first time in 22 years. They now back-to-back 20-plus win seasons down in Hammond, Louisiana.
And you see Billy Kennedy making them pull it out, go to a set play as the shot clock's running down. They only have 5 seconds.
3 seconds, get the shot off, and can't get it to fall. Here come the Demons. They got the numbers. They got Spencer.
Wow. Symbolic of the afternoon for Northwestern State. Wide open three from the corner. And Tremaine Hancock was not able to complete it.
Championship week presented by 7-Up continuing here. We got a good one in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Along with Stephen Bardo, I'm Jerry Punch. Southland Conference title game. 2 teams that finished dead even atop the conference standings. 13-3 regular season co-champions playing how appropriately here for one chance to go to the big dance. black and green trim of Southeastern Louisiana, in the white, the homestanding Northwestern State Demons.
That's where Woods is most effective, right there in the paint, where he can jump right over his defender and get the bucket.
Largest lead of the afternoon for the Lions at 7 points. And a nice effort back, and it couldn't get it to fall. Point-blank range and typical problems offensively now for Mike McConaughey's team as they struggle on the offensive end of the floor. Back in just a moment. Congratulations to the Duke Blue Devils and Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski's club. Here we got a good one going on in Southland Conference land. These two teams, Northwestern State, Southeastern Louisiana, co-champions at 13-3, both setting records for wins for their school during the regular season. Head-to-head, and Southeastern Louisiana, largest margin, largest lead they've had in the game, 7 points. Southeastern's leaders, Woods at 12 points, Lofton 7 rebounds and 3 assists. That timeout a moment ago, Mike McConaughey trying to get his Demons settled down to get some offense. Wide open shot for 3, and they can't get it to fall.
Wow, what a tussle underneath for that loose ball right there.
And the possession arrow will favor Southeastern Louisiana.
Take a look at the shot there from the 3. Look at the effort right there. Both those guys know, Spitzer and Lofton understand what's at stake.
Northwestern State, 3 of 13 shooting in the second half, 23%, and you can't beat anybody when you shoot that portal.
Not even if you play great defense, which we've seen Southeastern Louisiana do.
And give a credit to their exactly the defense of the Lions for what they have done. 5th in the country in scoring defense, and they are getting it done today. They held them to 35% shooting in the first half and less than 25 here in the second half. Ricky Woods, great second effort to get the rebound.
See what you see right now, Northwestern State is in a matchup zone. The hardest thing to do out of the zone is defensive rebound. When you have athletes like Woods and the big fella Lofton crashing offensive glass, Southeastern Louisiana coming up with extra opportunity.
Billy Kennedy being very patient with his half-court game, trying to take some time off the clock. Shot clock now inside of 10 seconds, 7-point lead for the Lions. Patton head fake, gets a shot from 3, and it won't fall. Great follow by Ricky Woods. 14 points for Woods. He's within 3 of his average just over 17 a game. Southeast Louisiana pulling away, 9-point lead with just over 6 minutes to play. In the same week they won the conference title that Jim Croce played his last concert in this very building, Prather Coliseum. And unfortunately, the tragic plane crash. His plane took off across the street from the airport and crashed just outside the lake here, about 100 yards from where we're sitting today. So a little bit of history in this building for not only their first championship in 31 years, but the last concert for a music legend. 5 minutes and 36 seconds since these guys have scored. Talking about the Demons of Northwestern State, unless that one goes in. It doesn't. And here's Wallace on the putback, fighting inside. Great second and third effort, and Byron Allen can't get it to fall, but he was hammered a couple of times, and he will shoot 2.
Now you see Northwestern State has come out of the huddle there, the timeout, and really picked up their pace. They're going to start shooting quicker. They're going to get it up and get it on the offensive glass in order to pick up their pace and get this game where they want it.
Take a look at the shoulders on Byron Allen. I mean, it's no wonder he can be pretty physical inside. 3-year starter for Mike McConaughey's team. Mike McConaughey built it from the ground up here. 3 years ago, he had 7 players graduate. And for the last 2 years, he's had the youngest basketball team in Division I college play. He had 11 freshmen 3 years ago, and he had 12 sophomores last year. And this year, he's only got 1 senior on the club. That being Tremaine Hancock, the senior captain.
And that's the benefit of sticking with young men and letting them develop into the type of players that you want. Because you go through tough times in those 2 years that you talked about, Doc. But now you see the fruits of his labor right here.
Ricky Woods, a transfer that led him in scoring this year. Newcomer of the year in the conference. Number 1 is Woods. You mentioned he went to Carver High School, same high school in New Orleans as Marshall Faulk. He can't get that one to fall.
Pretty good move, though, going towards the bucket, off the glass. Didn't fall for him. That's a good look. I'm sure Kenny is not upset with that look.
Inside, nice catch. Couldn't get the shot to fall. Here comes Patton the other way for the Lions.
There's a lid on that basket down there for the Demons. Nothing's going at this point.
Terry Bryant gets it swatted away by Spencer, and Northwestern State desperately needs a basket. Well, Selection Sunday coming your way, 5 o'clock Eastern time, Sunday afternoon. Exclusive unveiling of the 64-team Women's Championship. We are the exclusive home, of course, of the NCAA Women's Tournament. 6 Eastern time, Sports Center, updating the men's field, and ESPN News Bracketology presented by Staples. Chris Fowler, Dick Vitale, Jay Bellis and company. It's at 7 o'clock Eastern time, all part of Selection Sunday. Demons shooting 20% in the second half. Talking about Northwestern State, they are 3 for 15 from the field, and that's why you see that 7-point deficit on the scoreboard.
Despite all that, they're still only down 7 points and got plenty of time left to go in the game. They can get one spurt, get a couple different stops on the defensive end, come out and get some layups down, get their confidence up. This would be a new ball game.
We told you they went to the tournament one time.
Now you see Southeast Louisiana falls back into that matchup zone that they've had so much success with here in the second half, making Northwestern State beat them over the top with the jumper, trying to keep the ball in the paint.
Keenan Jones, backup point guard, very effective in the late minutes of the first half, trying to create something inside. What he'll do is create a couple of shots from the charity stripe. And if that foul is on Chris Lee, that's 4.
That would be a major blow to the Southeastern Louisiana attack. He spearheaded the defensive effort thus far this afternoon.
That is on Lee, and that'll be his 4th personal foul. He's been a major factor, you said, under the basket, passing the ball.
Well, when you talk about MVPs right now for Southeastern Louisiana, as we look at Chris Lee leaving the game, he's subbing in, filling in right now for the injured Neil Berry. This is a young man that averages 15 minutes a game and a little under 3 points a game. Right now, he's 7 points and 4 steals, 3 or 5 from the field. So he's really stepped up in the absence of Berry.
Keenan Jones, a sophomore from Opelousas, Louisiana, can't hit the free throw. Margin stays at 6, and they nearly turn it over. And yes, they say they will get the basketball back.
Hey, that's great effort right there. Well, take a look at this.
Keenan Jones earning his mark here on the floor as a backup point guard, showing a lot of effort.
Well, right now, you can see that the guards from Northwestern State don't respect the ball handling ability of Scott Roniger. The last couple times he's tried to handle the basketball, they've really pressured him into a couple turnovers.
Look at those numbers for Northwestern State in the second half. 3 of 15 from the field, and despite that, they are still in the basketball game. Northwestern State, #1 in the conference in scoring offense. You wouldn't believe it by watching them today. But if that guy gets untracked, it's a different story. Jermaine Wallace, 12-point for the all-conference selection and leading scorer. If he heats up, watch out.
And the building was waiting to erupt. They just needed one bucket to go down, Doc, and they got the 3 from Wallace. And now look at the defensive pressure of the Demons pick up.
Lions had a 9-point lead. It's been cut to 3, and now the turnover gives it back to Northwestern State. They can tie it here on this possession. We are in the Flip. We are back in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Southland Conference Championship game underway. Championship week presented by 7-Up along with Stephen Bardo. I'm Jerry Punch. Glad to have you with us. Southeast Louisiana in the black and green trim. Northwestern State in the white, trimmed in purple and red. 14-game home winning streak in jeopardy. Last time Southeast Louisiana won here 20 years ago, January 28, 1985, a 75-69 win. They have lost 14 in a row. A great effort to dribble around and couldn't get the basketball. And a follow there by Clifton Lee. A 7-0 run now by Northwestern State cuts the margin to 1 point.
So Jermaine Wallace is the only Demon from Northwestern State to hit a jumper here in the last 10 minutes. Everything else has been from the free throw line or getting to the bucket.
Chris Lee dribbling outside, has 4 personal fouls, to be very careful trying to push it in the lane. And Billy Kennedy wants to call a timeout and talk it over. 2 minutes, 57 seconds, and one of these two teams is going. His dad, Johnny, was an All-American in 1950. He came here. They had only 6 winning seasons. He's done a phenomenal job taking them to the title game for the 3rd time in just his 6 years here.
Shot clock down to 5.
And foul from behind called on Byron Allen over the back. 3rd personal foul on Allen.
Let's take a look here. As the shot clock's running down, you just can't afford to do that. Byron Allen, I don't know what he's doing there in terms of complaining to the referee. That was an obvious foul.
Allen, the 3-year starter, had a career-high 24 points against these guys last year.
See right there, Patton Hancock in the game, ball hawking right there. One of 3 brothers associated with this program.
They cleared out for Lofton. He follows it. Patton on the follow back after Lofton's shot rims out.
Well, that's yeoman's work on the glass by the Lions. First by Lofton and then by their sharpshooter Patton coming in and cleaning up the mess.
Oh, nice back behind the back dribble effort by Keenan Jones, a sophomore who has been impressive here today.
Well, he's a slippery guard. Very quick, kind of thin guard. Sneaky athlete around the basket, can explode on you right at the hole.
Just joined our coverage. Southeast Louisiana pulled away to a 9-point lead at the 7-minute mark of the 2nd half. But then a 7-0 run by Northwestern State cut it to 1. And we've stayed with the 1-point margin since that point in time. Patton goes down grimacing in pain on the floor as he hits on the shoulder and a knee. Take a look at the behind-the-back dribble on the effort a moment ago by Keenan Jones.
Keenan Jones, you see there, he feels the defensive pressure cutting him off. Goes with the wraparound, and I told you he can explode towards the basket. Maybe small, but he'll clown you at the hoop.
Little Stephen Bardo kind of action there, the old Illinois days.
Off a trampoline.
Got a fresh shot clock on that possession here. Plenty of time for the Lions of Southeastern Louisiana. Billy Kennedy up, orchestrating the offense, wanting him to be very patient and take as much time as they can off this clock. Oh, near turnover there by Bryant. Gets in trouble, gets the ball away to Patton, who's got a clean lane to the basket, and he will draw the foul inside.
Very impressive by Southeastern Louisiana with their patience and floor spacing. You saw the ball swing around the horn. Hancock knew that there was an opening. He penetrates quickly to the basket and draws a foul.
You saw a moment ago, Nate Lofton walked up and talked to Terry Bryant and said, boy, don't get yourself caught in a position where you're in the air and you got nowhere to get rid of the basketball. We can't turn it over. Senior leadership on the floor now making a difference for Southeastern Louisiana.
Patton continues to be the outside threat here in the 2nd half for the Lions. Smooth stroke on that young man.
Jonathan Patton had 21 points against Texas State Tuesday, had 14 against Sam Houston in the semifinals on Thursday night, and getting it done here in the final minutes of the championship game. 13 points for Jonathan Patton.
Hey, if I'm from Northwestern State, I go with a high pick and roll right here with Keenan Jones.
Here's Wallace gets it off the board. Nice follow inside. Can't get it on. Ball is down, and they get a timeout. Southeastern Louisiana. That's a critical timeout because the possession arrow favored Northwestern State. Some quick thinking on the floor by Terry Bryant, the sophomore. 3 seconds to play in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Northwestern State still has a foul to give before they get into the penalty. So if I'm Mike McConaughey, I instruct my players, foul if they look like they're going towards the bucket, scoring foul before they get off their feet.
About a 29-second difference. Oh, breakaway nearly stolen. Great effort by Jermaine Spencer. He gets it back to Ricky Woods. Shot clock down to 8 seconds inside Lofton, followed by Woods, and gets the roll.
Oh, man, the 1-2 punch of Woods and Lofton has just been too much for Northwestern State.
Can Ricky Woods jump or what? Here's the sophomore again trying to create something, Keenan Jones, and he will be fouled. Unbelievable jump by Ricky Woods a moment ago. Lofton puts it up, can't get it to fall. Watch Woods just leap out of the building here, back up.
The pogo stick action right there, gets off his feet quicker than everyone else on the second jump.
40-inch vertical jump by Ricky Woods, the junior college transfer.
Boy, the pressure really started to affect Northwestern State here.
Mike McConaughey says we got to have a timeout and get these guys settled down. We still got a shot. 27.6 ticks on the clock and a 5-point margin.
Keenan Jones, make or miss, pressure defense full court, but they try to come up with a steal on the first pass, if not foul. They got a foul now.
Got to get a foul, and they will grab Terry Bryant, who is their leading free throw shooter for the Lions at 73+%. So Billy Kennedy wanted someone at the line. This is the guy he'd like to pick.
I've been so impressed with Southeastern Louisiana this afternoon. Coming in here with the poise, not having won in 20 years, with all that's on the line. One of their starting players is injured with a groin injury, and they still find a way to get it done here this afternoon.
Billy Kennedy, we mentioned his 6 years as the head coach here. He spent a year as the head coach at Centenary. By the way, his first win as a head coach ever in college basketball at Centenary came right here in this building in 1998. There's a look at Billy Kennedy. 11 years as an assistant, 6 different Division I schools. 2004 Coach of the Year in the conference.
Wow. What a performance by the Lions.
7-point margin, clock ticking down. Desperation shot just short. And Ricky Woods will come down with it. And this crowd that's come all the way from Hammond, Louisiana to watch the Lions of Southeastern Louisiana play. They've got a great crowd on hand. They are loving this.
This is what it's all about. Teams getting a chance to get to the big dance. Southland Conference, not much known much around the country, but you can see the brand of basketball today.
These Lions were picked to finish 5th in the preseason by the media here in the conference, much like the team game we had yesterday where Delaware State was picked to finish 5th in the MEAC and got it done in the tournament title game. Delaware State had never been to the NCAA tournament. Likewise, Southeastern Louisiana has not gone there. But they are going now. The Lions are going to the big dance. 7-point margin. Less than 6 seconds to play. That guy right there, Nate Lofton, the senior center, what a great way for the New Orleans resident to go out.
Well, nothing but the name calling left to do on Southeastern Louisiana's part. Tough day for Northwestern State here at home. You expect to have success with this boisterous crowd and everything, and there you go. Billy Kennedy and his staff finally able to celebrate.
Roman Banks, who played at Northwestern State, one of his assistants, was a major part of that big upset when the Northwestern beat Kentucky in 1988. He is an assistant coach now under Billy Kennedy at Southeastern Louisiana. And there's a look at Johnny McConaughey, former All-American here, hoping so much that his son would be able to pull it off. He has worked so hard here. There is a look at Mike Opie McConaughey that's done so much for this program. But this one is history. and the streak has been broken. 14 consecutive losses, no more. 20 years they waited to win here in Natchitoches, Louisiana, and today they get it done. Southeastern Louisiana, led by Billy Kennedy, they have gotten it done. They are going to the big dance for the very first time in school history. Our final score from here in Natchitoches, Louisiana, Southeastern Louisiana 49, Northwestern State 42. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, as we get ready to head out to tennis ATP Masters in Indian Wells, California. Now let's go out to Cliff Drysdale. So long, everyone, from Natchitoches, Louisiana.